Ambition can feel complicated, especially when you've been taught to keep your dreams reasonable, your voice quiet, and your success palatable. Many women grow up absorbing implicit rules about competition, confidence, and worth, rules that don't always serve them once they start forging careers, building businesses, or cultivating a flourishing personal life. The result is often a strange tension, wanting more, yet feeling guilty for wanting at all. At the same time, the landscape of work has shifted. Entrepreneurship is more accessible, visibility is the new currency, and community matters more than ever. Still, old narratives linger, that success is scarce, that self-promotion is unbecoming, and that doing you, that is, doing things differently, is a risk you're unwise to take. Breaking free from those beliefs requires more than tactics. It requires a major mindset overhaul. If you've ever felt the pull to create something meaningful but battled self-doubt, comparison, or burnout, this code is for you. Its secrets challenge the idea that you have to choose between ambition and integrity, independence and connection, or hustle and well-being. Instead, it offers ways to step into your fullest potential while staying grounded, energized, and aligned. In this blink, you'll learn how to shift into an abundance-oriented mindset, why leading with authenticity creates impact that endures, how collaboration replaces competition, what role failure plays in building confidence, and why, ultimately, hustle paired with self-respect matters most. Together, these ideas form a modern blueprint for pursuing success on your own terms. Everything meaningful begins in the mind, before strategy, before action plans, before perfectly curated goals. There has to be a belief that success is possible and available to you. Without that internal shift, even the most innovative tactics will fall flat. The real work starts by deciding that you're capable of more, and that your future doesn't have to mirror your past. A scarcity mindset subtly convinces women that opportunity is limited and money is hard to come by. It whispers convincingly that there's only room for a select few at the top, creating a sense of powerlessness and constant comparison. Over time, this way of thinking hardens into limiting beliefs that shape decisions, dampen ambition, and keep potential safely boxed in. When you believe resources are scarce, you act cautiously, dream smaller, and wait for permission that never comes. The alternative is an orientation toward abundance, a way of seeing the world that assumes possibility rather than insufficiency. This limitless luxe mindset isn't about extravagance for its own sake. It's about allowing your vision to expand without guilt or apology. It asks you to imagine a reality where your wants are valid and achievable, and where the universe is far more generous than you were taught to expect. That expansive inner space, where anything feels possible, becomes the birthplace of your growth. A crucial realization within this mindset is that success isn't a finite resource. Another woman's win doesn't diminish your chances. There's no invisible ceiling that drops lower for you every time someone else rises above it. Abundance operates more like gravity, a natural law, than a limited number of prizes to be fought over. As a result, you can replace the commonly held fear and comparison with confidence and gratitude. This shift into abundance does require commitment. It can only be built through constant belief and visualization. That means seeing your ideal life clearly and repeatedly until it feels familiar rather than far-fetched. When you hold a vivid picture of what you want and trust that you're worthy of it, your thoughts begin to shape your actions, and your actions, in turn, reshape your reality. So from here on, think of success not as a cake that shrinks with every slice taken, but as a sunrise, offering light freely and without discrimination. In orienting yourself toward that kind of abundance, your forward momentum stops feeling impossible and starts feeling inevitable. Once you stop believing that opportunity is scarce, a big question emerges. Who are you going to be when you step forward? Abundance creates the space to build boldly, but authenticity determines whether what you build actually lands. Leading with who you truly are becomes the difference between blending in and standing out. Authenticity is about being real. Every woman has a unique fingerprint, a voice, perspective, or way of doing things that can't be duplicated, even by someone in the same industry. Individuality is the most valuable asset you bring to your professional and personal lives. When you trust your own brilliance and let your unique story guide you, you create something no template or trend could ever replicate. Believing in yourself often means turning inward instead of outward. Your natural instincts and curiosity are powerful signals, yet they're easy to dismiss when the clamor of comparison gets loud. Many women fall into the trap of watching others too closely, trying to reverse engineer their success by deferring to someone else's paradigm. Over time, this approach trades your excitement for exhaustion. Mimicking someone else's roadmap doesn't just waste energy, it distances you from the success you were pursuing in the first place. What's more, true connection doesn't come from perfection. It comes from honesty. Vulnerability invites risk, but it also invites trust. Showing up with your whole self, including the unconventional and unvarnished parts, creates space for genuine relationships to form. People are far more drawn to someone who feels human than someone who feels untouchable. When you allow yourself to be seen, you give others permission to do the same, and that shared openness becomes magnetic. So instead of asking what's already working for someone else, ask what you wish existed in the world. Building from that place turns innovation from something forced into something fun. Your gut instincts can reveal gaps others overlook, especially when you stop trying to fit into predefined boxes. Even choices that once felt like detours can become defining strengths once you own them fully. When you choose to be your own inspiration, authenticity stops feeling uncomfortable and starts feeling empowering. The more you lean into who you actually are, the easier it becomes to attract the right people, create meaningful work, and build something that feels aligned from the inside out. Abundance and authenticity open the door to a third shift: how you relate to other women on the same path. Once you trust that there's enough success to go around and feel grounded in who you are, ruthless independence stops making sense. Your growth can only accelerate when connection replaces comparison and support becomes a strategy rather than an afterthought. Real success as a female entrepreneur is rooted in the belief that women are better together. Walking the entrepreneurial path alone may feel safer, but it limits what's possible. Connection brings perspective, encouragement, and access to opportunities that simply don't exist in a vacuum. When women actively support one another, life is lighter and takes on another layer of meaning. Empowering others requires a modicum of inner confidence, though. You need to genuinely believe in your own brilliance and understand abundance as infinite. That way, there's no need to guard your ideas or hoard your contacts. Generosity becomes natural because you know sharing isn't a sacrifice. In fact, it's a signal of deep trust in yourself and in the universal flow of opportunity. Lifting another woman up sends a clear message that you're operating from strength, not fear. Equally true is that helping others invariably creates a ripple effect. Support offered with sincerity expands your own reach, often in unexpected ways. Collaboration introduces new audiences and ideas into the mix, expanding your vision of possibility. What you may have once assumed was inevitable rivalry transforms into boundless reciprocity. Growth becomes collective, not combative. The idea of competition quickly becomes irrelevant in this context. Even businesses that appear similar are never truly the same, because no two women bring the same energy, perspective, or story. Each has her own flavor, and the right audience will gravitate toward the right person. Of course, meaningful collaboration requires intention and balance. It's not about taking advantage of someone else's platform or effort. It's about recognizing the opportunities within shared challenges and creating solutions together. Joint events or community spaces built on mutual respect allow everyone involved to shine. When value flows in both directions, partnerships feel transformational rather than transactional. Choosing collaboration over competition redefines success as something richer and ultimately more sustainable. It replaces scarcity with solidarity and turns individual ambition into collective power. When women join forces, they can move mountains instead of fighting over the same ground. Even with the mindsets of abundance, authenticity, and collaboration in place, one obstacle still has the power to stall progress: fear of failure. Many women carry the belief that making a mistake is proof they weren't cut out for success in the first place. In reality, failure isn't a dead end. It's a gateway to clarity, strength, and resilience you wouldn't access any other way. Reframing failure is a mission-critical skill. When failure is seen as an endpoint, it becomes paralyzing, convincing you to wait or never begin at all. But when failure is understood as a springboard, action immediately feels less intimidating. Taking calculated risks is how courage is forged. Avoiding failure doesn't protect your confidence. It prevents it from ever forming. Failure also has a way of stripping life down to what actually matters. When something doesn't work, there's no room for posturing or pretending. You're forced to reassess, simplify, and refocus your energy on the essentials. That process builds an inner security, the kind rooted in self-belief rather than external validation. Easy wins might feel good in the moment, but they rarely teach you who you are or what you're truly capable of. Passion is the ultimate antidote to fear. When your work is fueled by something that excites you, that fire carries you through uncertainty and doubt. Passion doesn't eliminate fear, but it makes fear manageable. On days when everything feels heavy or frustrating or plain impossible, having a compelling why can turn setbacks into challenges worth rising to. The reality is that moving forward requires a willingness to do things when you're scared. Confidence isn't something you're born with, it's a muscle that strengthens with use. Every time you act despite anxiety, fear loses a little of its power. What once felt overwhelming begins to shrink when faced head-on. The mind tends to exaggerate possible dangers, but taking action often reveals these dangers to be far less dramatic than initially imagined. Women who succeed don't linger in disappointment or allow themselves to be paralyzed by fear. They give themselves a moment to feel frustrated, yes, but then they redirect that energy into motion, whether that means celebrating the effort, pivoting the strategy, or reaching out to others for support. When failure is treated as an ally, rather than an enemy, you position yourself to become truly unstoppable. By now, your perspective has expanded. You've honored your individuality, collaboration feels like second nature, and failure has lost some of its sting. One last secret remains. Success demands work. Big dreams don't materialize through intention alone. They require showing up relentlessly and treating your goals as a personal responsibility rather than a distant hope. The hustle begins with self-invitation. Waiting to be chosen, noticed, or validated will keep your momentum forever on pause. Progress comes from working when others are resting, raising your hand without being asked, and charting your unique path. No one will care about the success of your personal or professional life more than you. So take ownership of your journey. Don't wait for someone else to offer you a guided tour. Part of that ownership is learning to advocate for yourself. Self-promotion often feels uncomfortable to women, especially when there's a fear of being seen as pushy or annoying. But when your work genuinely excites you, sharing it becomes an expression of passion rather than an icky sales pitch. Talking about what you do doesn't have to be arrogant. It can be a value add. If you don't make your value visible, there's no reason for the world to recognize it. Financial independence also plays a major role in this equation. Think about becoming your own sugar daddy and work to fund your own desires, whether that's a luxury purchase or simply greater peace of mind. Doing this reduces your reliance on someone else's permission or goodwill. There's a unique flavor of confidence that comes from knowing your life is built on your own effort and that your rewards are self-earned. Boundaries become increasingly critical here, too. Building something meaningful leaves no space for unnecessary drama. Protecting your energy means recognizing and distancing yourself from people who sap your motivation or joy. Maintaining a high, glam vibration is anything but superficial. It's strategic. Solo dates, movement breaks, and regular rest will keep your spirit fueled, especially during periods when the entrepreneurial going gets tough. Ultimately, your work will reflect how you treat yourself. A thriving business can't exist alongside chronic burnout or self-neglect. Being your own best friend, physically, mentally, and emotionally, guarantees you success and sanity across the rest of your uniquely brilliant and undoubtedly bright journey ahead. In this Blink to Girl Code by Cara Alwill, you've learned that true success starts from within. Believing in abundance allows you to dream without limits. Authenticity ensures your voice and vision resonate in ways no one else can replicate. Collaboration replaces competition, turning connections into opportunities for shared growth. Failure becomes a teacher rather than a threat, guiding you toward what truly matters. Pair all of this with focused, passionate hustle, and don't forget to protect your energy. By stepping fully into yourself, you'll see that the possibilities are limitless, and that every goal is within your reach. Okay, that's it for this Blink. We hope you enjoyed it. If you can, please take the time to leave us a rating. We always appreciate your feedback. See you soon.